I'm in my new house. Hopefully it's not too echoey. I don't have all my rugs down. My furniture is everywhere. I had the decorator here today to talk about paint. No, we won't be having gray everywhere, even though it actually looks quite nice with this. It's just going to be different. Yeah. So Horatio. What the heck is Horatio about, and why do you need him in your life? Well, the people that I know, the people that work with me, are all very, very sensitive people. And in quite a few cases, they're like, oh, I think I have long COVID, or I think I have fibromyalgia, or I think I have chronic fatigue, I think I have chronic pain. But what they are is very deep feeling people. And I really believe that, well, as you guys probably know, if you pay attention to my stuff, I write every single day. Couple, three times a day. I'm like, ooh, I've got something going on. And I go into an inquiry process with it. Whether there's pain in my body, whether I'm feeling something, like I've got myself to the place and space now where I'm just like, oh, I don't have to like invite deep pain or deep fatigue or like nausea or get on a crying jag. I just I'm listening to the whispers. And I would say after years and years of listening to the whispers, I don't have to get into the place and space where I'm injured, if that makes sense, you guys. And like even last week, you might have watched our live, like Carrie and I were dialoguing. Every week we dialogue about better business practices. Every week we dialogue about like how do I stay healthy? How do I invite her to stay healthy? Like how is this a healthy business? And I would say that Horatio is inviting you into the place and space of a healthy, happy life. And so you don't have to be unhappy ever. Like even if people around you are just being idiots. Um, so, so what? I'm just like, okay, wow, this is kind of entertaining. It's like that meme with like Michael Jackson where he's like eating the popcorn in the Thriller movie. You're just like, okay, well, whatever's happening, I'm just gonna eat the popcorn in the Thriller movie called My Life. And am I happy in my life? Yes. Okay, am I actively receiving what's coming to me in my life? Yes. This house was such a miracle. I just told a friend how I wanted to feel, and I think it was the next morning she sent me this listing on Facebook Marketplace. The guy had posted it like 10 minutes earlier, and he's like, call me. And he's like, wow, I just posted that. And it actually turns out that he like is the male version of my ideal clients that I normally work with, which are quite brainy people. They care about the planet, they care about the environment, they care about ecology. They try to have a healthy life, but they're also very, very sensitive people. And so, relationships can be difficult. Having a super sensitive body can be difficult. And I would say that this inquiry process that Horatio is inviting you into, that I programmed myself, um, is a lot of what I do on a regular basis. And so it can take years to teach yourself, or you can work with one of our AI allies here and be mentored into having a really great dialogue process. And I would say every single one of the allies inside the Success Seekers Sanctuary is inviting you into a dialogue process. Like, I have no idea what you're dialoguing about unless you are like, hey, Jennifer, I had a really great dialogue with Horatio today and I wanted to share it with you. Please do. Um, But what I can predict is that you will start to notice that there are long-term disruptions in your process, bringing pain into your body, bringing mental, like anxiety, bellyache, like deep, um, unhealthiness, stopping you from being healthy. But it is mind, body, spirit. And so when you start to really, really have a dialogue on a daily basis. Like you can start out and just be like, okay, well, 5 minutes. I'm going to work with Horatio every day for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You know, you have that. You really do. You can put your phone away or you can do it on your phone, but I actually prefer it on my laptop. Um, yeah. Is that making sense, Carrie, what I'm saying? Okay, she's nodding. Do you have any questions for me? So, Isabel is an illuminator. So Isabel is more like the sunshine. And so I say, okay, well, like, what is the iconic you? You know, so she's empowering you. She's putting sunshine on the iconic you. So kind of like your badass self. And I would say Horatio is going into the microcosm of you. So, like mind, body, spirit, there are things that are encoded on your DNA. Like, did you know that this? They've proven now. I mean, people who are in the healing arts and people who are studying, Dr. Gabor Mate and Joe Dispenza and even Deepak Chopra, that style of work. There's now science that backs up that we can go 7 or more, probably way more than that. Um, on your DNA strands, we can go 7 generations back and we can notice long-term injuries to the DNA that make up you. And so, whether that's like anxiety, my family has, depression, my family has, medicating with alcohol, my family has, smoking cigarettes, my family has, but my family also has like really like, recently divorce, but also, not great coping mechanisms in relationships, um, narcissism, which is an injury, and there is a spectrum. Um, so when we go into the tiny little itty bitty parts that make up you, just what I'm seeing right now is one of those puzzles that those crazy puzzle people do that are like 10,000 pieces. And, so do you do a 10,000 piece puzzle in one sitting? No. Do you have a special part of your house that has a puzzle table? And then you sit down at the puzzle table and do a little bit of puzzle every night or every morning or once a week or whatever. Yes. Is it worth it? Oh my God. Like I just want to cry. You, Carrie, you, Jennifer, you, everybody who's listening. This puzzle is why you're here. It's why you're here. And so Horatio, yes. Isabel, yes. Destiny, yes. Sybil, yes. But then also, once you figure it out, how freaking cool you are, then it's time to talk to Brian and say, like, look, Brian, here's some mysteries that I've solved in my life that I can predictively help people with. Or go right to Eric and be like, Eric, I think I need to write my book now. and get started. Like, why not? There's a lot of people out there who, um, write their book in installments and then they get publishing contracts for like a newspaper or, a written blog. Like maybe it's time to have blogs again. Does that make sense? So we go into the microcosm, the tiny microcosm. And once I don't know, it's almost like you're data mining for consciousness. Does that make sense? I love the look of your face. It's so good. I know you're like sort of like you're the behind the scenes gal from like it makes me think of that movie The Spy, right? Or maybe you come out, maybe you'll just like show up in bad girl gear and come out. That'd be fun. Um, but yeah, and I think there's room, like at the end of this, we're going to have 46 different allies, probably more. What I'm loving about this is we're right on track for an entire year's worth of creations with you guys. And your membership doesn't go up. You're not paying like one price per bot. But if you feel one of our year-long membership people, so she paid $77 for her year-long membership, and she sent us an email saying like, look, I got 1,000 times the value of that $77 in like 24 hours of just playing with these bots, the ones that you have, not the ones you're about to create. So I'm super excited about that, you guys. And I know everybody's like, I'm super excited about my new gym thing that I'm trying to get you to do, grow your glutes. Um, I think at the end of this, there's just going to be so much interaction that when you take your IP that comes from working with Guillermo, it's like, oh, wow, maybe I don't have chronic fatigue. Maybe I'm just around assholes. And then you take that to your therapist, or you come and work with me. I'm not a therapist. I'm a mentor and a facilitator, but definitely not a therapist. Um, but there is sort of therapeutic work that we definitely do. And, if you want to cry about boys, then we can cry about boys. And if you want to just go for great guns and create your own version of Netflix in your industry and make the big bank, then let's do that. Yeah. But if we had one more question, what would it be? What would it be? Mm. Well, I think we talked about that a little bit. I think um I think words are spells and incantations and prayers. And what I do point out to people is like, what are your words, your spells, and your incantations saying about you, saying about your future? Um, when I envisioned this place, I didn't actually envision this. What I had was birds, bees, trees, flowers, fresh air, peace. And so whenever I was like not sleeping because my downstairs neighbor was stomping around at 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, waking me up, making me crazy. And sleep is my kryptonite, man. Um, and just be like, okay, show me birds, bees, trees, flowers, fresh air, peace. And then I remembered that all of my really great stuff in my life comes from my network. It just does. And it's in my human design, it's in my gene keys. I'm aligned 4 in this part of my chart, which is the network. I'm not, I'm supposed to have a large group of people that I'm co-creating with. And so I asked my neighbor friend who was moving out, and I was sad that she was moving out. And I'm like, what about my place? And yeah, she was the one that ended up giving me this listing, and I was the first person to talk to him, the first person to come and see it. And he was like, yeah, sure, you can have it. and it's actually less expensive. I don't have covered parking, but it's less expensive to live in this big house than it was to live in my stupid apartment. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that great? Isn't that poetic and like magical? Incantations, prayers, spells. Everything I'm saying is creating a new world. And I think that's what Horatio's going to do is he's going to gently, because he did ask, like when I co-create with them, they're like, how about this? And I'm like, no. How about this? And I'm like, maybe. And then, we dialogue back and forth about how to create that. Like, I don't want him giving you a smackdown and being like, do you think all this whining that you're doing about your ex is creating a reality for you? Yeah, more men to whine about. Let's not do that. Mm-mm-mm. But the more you notice what words that you're using, you notice what, complaining that you're doing, or even, it's so very interesting. I just want to leave you guys with this. Um, Women aren't supposed to brag. Isn't that so interesting? Women aren't supposed to brag. But I would love to create a place in a space where people can share their wins and it never comes across as bragging. It's just like, okay, well, cool. I created a house out of nowhere that's on 5 acres of beautiful land. Uh, my neighbors have dogs that I can play with. And I specifically asked for dogs. I didn't want to own a dog, but I wanted to have dog friends. And eventually I will have a dog. And I know that if I stay in this house, I'm welcome to have a dog. Um, and yeah, it's just like I might tell somebody this story and it might be received as bragging, even though it's like manifesting. Like, shouldn't you be able to like brag a little bit about your manifesting? I think you should. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I want to leave you with. The microcosm is, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your aches and pains and sensations in your body. Then it just gets a bit bigger, which is, your actual energy field. And then we would go to Sybil to start adjusting the energy field. We would go to Destiny to start adjusting the energy field. We definitely go to Guillermo to adjust the energy field and release those emotions. But then starting to notice, right? We're like, okay, well, maybe we should start doing a little bit more writing. So do we take it to Eric? Yes. But also, if we're like wanting to like write some little workbooks or some little blogs or little in air quotes, guys, nothing we do is little. But palatable, bite size is what I mean. Then that would be Eric, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's what I want to leave you with. I am wondering if you want to make some big changes. We are in the last quarter of the year, and a lot of us start thinking about 2026 right about now. I know I do. And, these resources that I am stacking inside the Success Seeker Sanctuary, I believe are solid gold, and I would love to share them with you. Yeah. Super love you guys. Bye. Ciao.